In this chapter, we will be learning how to insert tables into a Microsoft Word document. We will also learn how to customize that table according to our needs and how to perform simple calculations using tables. Now, a table is a grid made up of rows and columns. You have vertical columns and horizontal rows. So when things are presented in this way, it makes it very easy for you to read that data and to get information from it. Take this routine here, for example. It's very clear and you can easily find out what subject you have on a particular period on a particular day. Your calendar 2, for example, okay, you can easily find out which date falls on which particular day. This is a bill. Again, here the data has been presented in the form of rows and columns, in the form of a table. So it makes it very easy for you to see how much the cost of each dish was, okay, and how many were ordered and what the total bill was. So presenting things in a tabular manner improves the readability, okay, and it makes it very easy for us to calculate or perform calculations on the given data. Okay, we'll start by doing the practical work on page number 21 in your textbook. Now there you can see there are 8 rows and 2 columns that you have to create. Okay, so we'll first start by inserting the table. So as you know, this is known as the ribbon. Okay, and let me just zoom in a bit. So as you know, this is the ribbon and you have the different tabs under which you have functions organized in different groups. Okay, so go to the insert tab, left click on the insert tab. Now click on the tables. Now click on insert table. Now this brings up the insert table dialog box. Now you can choose the number of columns and the number of rows. So we want only 2 columns and we want 8 rows. So you type and change that and then you click on OK. Now as soon as I click on OK, the table will be created. Okay. Now type the headings in the columns as Roman numerals and numbers. So we're just making a table which shows what the value of a Roman numeral is. Okay, so let's just type that. So Roman numerals, tab takes it to the next cell, okay, in the row, and this represents the values. Okay, now let's just make them center aligned as is shown in your book, and you can just change the color also to red. All right, now you fill in the data as they've shown. So you have I, which represents the value 1. Then you have V, which represents the value 5. Then you have X, as you know, which represents 10. Then you have L, which is equal to 50. Then you have C, which is equal to 100. Then you have D, which is equal to 500. And M, which is equal to 1000. Now, let us make this data center aligned as well. Okay, so this is pretty much what we want. Now the next question says, insert a new column to the right of the table created above and type the heading in words, and then you need to type in each value in words. So we first have to add a new column to the table. Now to do that, first place your cursor on the table. Okay, just select the table. So now if you've noticed, 2 extra tabs become visible in the ribbon, that is the design and the layout. Okay, now I won't select the table, I'll click outside. They're not there anymore. But as soon as you click the table, then what happens? These two tabs become visible. So now you need to click on the layout tab. Then you go to the rows and columns group. There you have options to insert rows above or below, and then to insert columns to the left or to the right. So right now my cursor is here in the numbers column. So now I want to insert a column on the right. So I'll just left click on insert right, which will add a new column. So let's give that heading that is in words. And let's just enter the data. 1, 5, 10, 50, 100, 500 and 1000. And there we've got our required output. There are some shortcuts which help us move the cursor quickly in a table. So to move the cursor from one cell to the next cell in the right, use the tab key. Okay, and to do just the opposite, that is move the cursor to one cell to the left, you press and hold the shift key and then press the tab key. All right. And let's say you have a very large number of columns and you quickly want to get to the first column in the particular row. Then you use the press and hold the Alt key and press the Home key, which will take you to the first cell in that particular row. Now let's see what happens when I type text in between an already existing text data. Okay, so I'm just going to enter TAN. So as you can see, I was able to do that, and now TAN is in between NUM and ERALS. So this is called the insert mode. Okay, it inserts the text whatever I type, even if it is between an existing word. Now there is another mode in Excel, okay, which is called the overtype mode. So let's see what happens when I turn that on and then I do the same thing. So this is called the insert mode, and this is the default mode on Microsoft Word. So to enable the overtype mode, go to the status bar. This is the status bar. Right click on the status bar, and there is a thing called overtype there. So left click on that. Now when you enable that, insert, that's the mode that we are currently on, is highlighted here. Now left click on insert and it changes to overtype. Now see what happens when I type letters. So when I type T, it has deleted the letter on the right, that is E, and taken its place. If I type in more letters, it keeps on deleting whatever characters are there on the right and takes its place, and then you can continue typing. So in the overtype mode, whatever you type in between an already existing text, okay, it deletes the text on the right or the character on the right and takes its place. So that's about the insert mode and the overtype mode. So we learned how to insert a column. Now let's learn how to insert a row. The steps are pretty much the same. So select the cell, okay, under which or above which you want to insert the new row. Now again, the design and the layout tab, they appear. So click on layout, and then you have insert above and insert below options under the rows and columns group. So if you want to insert a row above the row which has the cursor here, click on insert above. So that creates a new row above the one which had the cursor. Now if I want to create a new row, okay, below the last row that we have here, then I'll just take my cursor there, click on that row, and then click on insert below, which creates a new row underneath it. Now inserting columns and rows can also be done, okay, by right clicking on a particular cell, particular row or a column, and then you have insert columns to the left, columns to the right, insert rows above or insert rows below. Now deleting rows and columns is also pretty straightforward. Okay, so just select the column which you want to delete. Let's say we don't want the last column anymore, so just click on Layout tab, and then again under the rows and columns group you have the delete button. So just select, left click that, and then you have delete cells, delete columns, delete rows, delete tables. So just click on delete columns and it will delete the entire column. So I'm just going to undo that operation by pressing the Ctrl Z key. All right, so if you want to delete the last empty row that we have here, just select or place your cursor on that row, and then again layout, and then delete, and then delete rows. So that's how you can delete rows. Pretty straightforward. You can also delete rows by again using the right click menu. Let's say we don't need this row anymore, so just right click on that particular row, then you have delete cells here. So just left click on delete cells, and then just select delete entire row option, or select that radio box over there. Okay, so select that radio button over there, and then just click on OK. So that will delete the entire row. Again, similar for deleting a column, right click, delete cells, then delete entire column, and it will delete that entire column.